Hi, everybody. I'm Kaitlyn Johnson with Bell Castro Literary Agency, and today I'm going to go over a bit about how not to respond to a rejection. I'm going to preface that with the fact that sometimes it's just better not to respond at all. Maybe don't answer agents when they send you a pass. I'm not saying I don't get very nice answers. I do get some people thanking me for my time and stuff like that. But if you're going to act on anger or emotions are high in this moment and you're going to react negatively, maybe just don't answer. But for the few who have, today we're going to go through a few of these and really discuss the levels of them, because obviously some people respond because they're curious about something or they want more feedback. Some people are being angry and cocky, and some people are being downright inappropriate. So I'm going to go through a little bit. And normally with word count, that's what I get a lot of responses about, because I'll tell them, hey, this is too high or too low for your genre or for your age category. And I'll get a response saying, well, what is the right word count? Can you tell me more about this? That's something you really need to not do. You need to research. You need to go on Google. You need to look at Writer's Digest. There are plenty of articles out there. Even if you find some that have a bit more of a skewed word count, you can find kind of an average. You don't need to be emailing the agent back to have them do your work for you. So keep that in mind. Also, don't be emailing them back saying, can you elaborate on this? You didn't like the concept. Well, what about it did you not like? Usually that's just because it's not something we'd read. We just aren't really that interested. We don't have specific things for you. Now, if we say something like, I didn't connect with the voice or the writing style or something like that, don't email back for more feedback. If we didn't give it to you the first time around, chances are it's because we absolutely don't have time right now. We need to just be getting you an answer in one way or another, and we can't spend time actually critiquing the work for you. So don't email back asking for more feedback. If they didn't do it the first time, they're not going to do it the second time. We also don't want you emailing back about a sequel or another book. Well, I have this one. What about this? Or I get a lot of this. Well, I just did another edit on it, so it's been changed. So I'm going to send you the first chapter anyway. That's revised now, so see if you like that. No. You shouldn't have sent me something that wasn't finished editing anyway. And that's another thing. I've had a response where somebody, I gave them the word count, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry for the confusion. It's not done yet. I've written about 23,000 words, and I'm shooting for 100,000, but I just wanted to pitch it and see if people were going to, connecting with the premise. So you're lying to the agent. You are telling them that you have a work ready for them and you don't. And then you're also just playing a fishing game, which means later on down the road, you probably can't resubmit this query to those agents. So don't be doing stuff like that either. Because then you won't have to answer a query where you get a rejection, because you're not doing this unethical thing. Don't be emailing back to kind of change their mind. Well, it gets much better after the first few pages. I had somebody email me back and who said, I wonder if you would like to know about my literary record. And they put their email or their website address. That was all they put, was perhaps you'd like to know more about my literary career. And that's what they put up. No, I'm offering representation on your book, on your work, on how we work together. I'm not signing you because you think you have publishing credits that are somehow laudable and worthy of it, like fast tracking you. It's not happening. Don't answer and say, well, I'm published, and put the Amazon link to your book in the pitch for your book that's on Amazon. To be like, oh, well, I'm a published author, so I don't need to take your advice in that. It's very rude. It's very cocky, and it makes me think you are definitely not somebody I want to work with, because you would not be likable as we do that. Don't respond asking if we've even read it. Like, oh, you just reject me. You didn't even read the pages. That's not true. We give you the feedback. We give you the pass because we looked at it and we know it's not our thing. Like, we're just not the right match for it. Don't start accusing people of not doing things, which is their actual job. So we are doing it. And again, I think I got off track a bit, but if you're emailing back to be like, well, if go past the first 5-10 pages, it gets better there. Well, then you need to reevaluate why your beginning doesn't get good till later. Why is the good part not your beginning? So reevaluate those things instead of responding to the agent and just telling them they're wrong. So these are ones that are more they're curious about things, or they're trying to kind of fight with you on it a little bit to change your mind. Then there's the ones that are a bit rude. And a little bit of these I'm going to go into are things they say in the query or the pitch rather than responding, just because it's just as detrimental. So if anybody queries me, they should be researching me, and they should know that I'm a big synopsis person. I think they're mandatory. I think they're very necessary for me to understand the piece. So when it comes to that box or your attached work or copy and pasted, wherever you're sending it, don't put stuff like, well, I don't like the synopsis because it ruins excitement, so I'm not going to send you one. And if you're not satisfied with my synopsis, I don't care. Ha, ha, ha. I've actually gotten that ha, ha, ha. Really rude. And it tells me that when I reject you, you may be somebody who literally will lash out at me because I rejected your wonderful work because, you know, it's the next bestseller, thousands of dollars. That's who you are kind of telling me you are. So don't do that. Don't also email an agent saying you can't send to them the way they want you to, like through Query Manager, say, because you're allergic to Query Manager, and then give a big list of reasons why they need your personal email. Don't do that. Obviously, that shouldn't need to be said. Don't say there's no special query, that you're just sending something to see if they like it enough to offer on it. I don't know why somebody would do that. Again, this is about researching. And don't respond when they say, hey, your query didn't come through, or your synopsis didn't load. Can you please resend this? And then you get snotty and you're like, oh, I don't do those. I don't need to do that. You just need to look at this pitch and tell me if you like it. That's not going to work. It's not going to work in the industry. You need to actually try. You need to understand that this is a business and you are bringing yourself forward as a business partner. Anything like that is really, really not. Don't argue with us also if you're writing something and we kind of tell you something like, well, I'm not sure you're the person who needs to be writing this. And this often comes from like Own Voices or something like that. We shouldn't be policing. We shouldn't be telling you, you know, if you can't write things. That's not our goal. But if we do point something out in your query and be like, this causes some concern, I'm just a little confused. I've gotten some queries that are male authors, and it's about female abortion rights, or about how women are capable and strong as men, and they should be given a voice, so he felt like he should write about it. But in the query itself, he's saying he's not the voice to do it because women are usually not given the voice. So don't argue with us when we tell you, hey, this seems a little bit problematic. I'm not sure this is like, this plot really has your goal in mind, or it's not really achieving what you wanted it to achieve. And don't email us back like cursing at us and yelling at us and telling us we're wrong, because I've had that as well. We've been told, well, you're clearly a bad agent because you're not picking up on this bestseller, and obviously you can't recognize talent, so screw you. We've had that happen before. You need to remember that, you know, these things they get around. We are a small community. We talk. We tell people, hey, this person's severely rude to me. Just if he's in your box, you guys be aware. So you need to be aware also that, like, people talk. Word gets around. This is a business. Conduct yourself as a business person. Hold on one second. I have a list here, obviously, because I'm not doing the gamut of things I've gotten or other agents have gotten. I pick and choose what I really wanted to talk about. We've got a lot of people who kind of lie to us as well. People who say, you know, I have 2 editors interested in the work, so maybe you should take another look. And then they send screenshots of those emails from other editors, and they're actually an editor saying, well, we don't take unagented work, sorry. That's not them interested in your work. That's them telling you you're disregarding guidelines and just deciding to jump the line. So we have a lot of people who try to twist the words of a lot of people and say, well, so-and-so recommended you to me. I have people put that all the time, and I have no idea who that person is that they're saying recommended them. No idea who that editor is. No idea who that literary agent is. Never talked to them once. So be aware that when you lie or try to do something like that, that makes you sound better. It doesn't make you sound better. A lot of people email back trying to get recommendations like that. Can you suggest an agent for the piece? Can you suggest an editor? That's not really our thing, guys. That's not our job. We don't sit there and have a list ready for you and be like, oh yeah, this agent you should send it to this person. Every now and then we might. If we really like the piece and we actually do think of somebody, we might offer it. But if we don't offer it, don't ask for it. That's really not how this goes. Same with editors. We're not going to suggest editors to you. Don't email back basically saying, you know, I really think you should reconsider. Here's the first 5 chapters. Just see if you change your mind. Don't do that. Get that all the time. I got one that literally said, I feel so confident that further reading will convince you the book has real potential that I'm sending the whole manuscript by separate cover. Don't do that. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to delete it. I'm immediately not going to answer you. It's very rude. It's basically telling me I don't know how to do my job and that you know better than me. So remember these things when you send it in. I don't know what your goal is if you send something like that in, but don't do it. Just don't do it. Take the rejection, move on, go to the next person. Take a deep breath. So here are the inappropriate ones. And fair warning, we get a lot of inappropriate things in the queries. So I'm talking about that as well. I recently posted a screenshot to Twitter where some guy, he already went against my guidelines and sent it to my personal agency email. B, he brought up that there's nothing to do in this pandemic but read. Okay, that's fine. Reading's my job, so I still have to. But I was like, whatever, that's fine. I'm still going to delete your query because you did it the wrong way here. But then he adds, well, reading, drinking beer, and having sex. I posted this. I didn't put any personal information, of course. I'm not outing somebody like that. But this is highly inappropriate. You are basically applying for a job, or it's like you're going to a job interview. We are hiring each other. You're hiring me for a service. I'm hiring you for a service. We both want to make each other money. We want to get the books out. We want to get those stories to readers. So if you go into a job interview, the first thing you do is not start talking about sex to the person. It's just not okay, especially also in this case where it was a male coming to a female and just immediately starts talking about sex and hint, hint. I actually had some people obviously were on my side thinking this was gross and disgusting. And then one dude decided to argue with me about how maybe this person was naive or ignorant. And there's no excuse for this stuff, people. If you start off a query or you email them back with something inappropriate like that, you're going to get immediate blacklisted. You're going to get deleted, and that's that. So remember that. It's also a thing when you compare pitching to dating. And you have to think of it in this way, is that there are a lot of female literary agents, and there are male agents who also are uncomfortable with a lot of this, agents of any identity. You don't need to be bringing up sexual things, dating things, relationship things. Don't query us because you liked our kind smile or thought we were a hot redhead, which I have had a fellow literary agent told in a query. These are all really inappropriate things. Focus on your book and your work. Don't focus on any of this kind of stuff. You're going to get an auto delete. I've had people respond to my rejections and insult, and this happens in the queries as well, insult other book genres, book titles, age categories, just insult them. We've had somebody call other people's work a vapid, softcore porn, lurid romance in Target or discount bins, something the readers will just throw in the trash afterward. While then being like, my book, of course, is one they will keep for all of their lives and really tells you about people. So you're immediately trashing somebody else's work. And that's not something that makes you look like a viable client. It doesn't make you look like you'd be a good part of the industry. It looks like you would want to tear down people instead. So throwing back insults, even if they're not the agent themselves, that's a big red flag as well. Don't tag people, by the way, on Twitter to pitch their book or ask them if they would like it. Just query them. That's the polite, better way to do it. You're following guidelines. Don't email back saying, if you'd stuck with it a little longer, you would have come away highly entertained. So you're clearly a bad agent. Did you even read any of my book? Like, we've gotten stuff exactly like that. A big one I wanted to talk about, and this is one of the last points I wanted to make, is going against the agent for passing on something because they don't read that subject matter, or that subject matter is triggering for them or is uncomfortable for them. I once passed on a book that had suicidal ideation in it, where the character, literally spent the whole first chapter, at least the majority of the first chapter, considering killing himself. I don't do suicide books. I don't like them. I don't connect with them. It's the same as I don't really do rape books. Many agents will tell you, I don't do this subject matter. It's just not me. When I pass and I tell you that's why I'm passing on it, you don't respond to me and then tell me that you're less than impressed with my reduction of your plot. And if I had actually read your first chapter, I'd see how wrong I am. And then also, and I'm actually going to read this paragraph. It was a long time ago, but it's always stuck with me because basically this is an attack on a person. They're telling you that they aren't comfortable reading this kind of stuff, that this stuff affects them negatively. And then you're turning around and kind of bashing them or attacking them for that. And so this person basically said, word choice matters, all honesty, inhumane, and less than modest responses, and in parentheses, you seem like you need a healthy dose of humility, just have no place in that world anymore, and they shouldn't in anyone's. I would take more care in crafting your responses. I hope writers have the strength to withstand your superficial and less than wise indulgences. Taking your words to heart would be a mistake, and this letter should provide further evidence that I am a writer and you are not. I think it's pretty clear the kind of vibe you're getting when an agent reads that. But you're also attacking them and telling them they're wrong in being uncomfortable by something. If I am uncomfortable reading graphic rape on a scene, I'm not wrong in telling you that it's not for me. And in telling you I'm not a breeder of suicidal ideation, again, I'm not wrong in not being comfortable reading that. Turning around and insulting somebody makes it feel like in the industry you won't be able to take criticism, you won't be able to take a couple readers not liking your work, you won't be a good edit. You won't be able to edit any of your work because you are just so steadfast in how you have the best book possible. So sending things like that, and that's saved forever, by the way. That's in Query Manager. Anybody at my agency can see it. I can pull it up anytime. So it doesn't just disappear into the ether. It doesn't get deleted. When you attack someone or you send a really angry, mean email back at them, you are pigeonholing yourself. You are labeling yourself as somebody who would go after others. So these are ways not to answer. I'll also say when you get passes, don't answer and say, well, I have beta readers. So thanks, but I don't need your advice. I've gotten that. So a lot of things in our responses can sometimes be boilerplate, template. So I always have basically at the bottom, beta readers and critique partners are very helpful in this industry. And people sometimes assume it means I'm making fun of them or telling them they should go get a beta reader because their writing's not good. No, I'm adding some advice at the bottom just to be like, in this industry, this is helpful. So here it is if you aren't using it already. And I've had people email me back saying, how dare you insinuate that I don't do this? You're calling me a bad writer. Remember, we're not here to attack you. So you shouldn't be here to attack us. This is not what we're going for. So to sum up a lot of this, obviously, no response is the best response because you shouldn't be emailing agents back angry or fighting them or trying to change their minds. You just need to focus on your work and moving on and getting the best fit. If they've passed on it, they're not the best fit. The ways you can respond, you don't need to, obviously. And even if you do, like send a brief thank you, I'm not going to answer it. I'll probably see it and smile, and that's nice. But I'm not going to be answering it. So if you want to, you can. You don't need to send back things that are just like, I understand, or thank you, good night. You don't need to do that, people. It's fine, but it just wastes more of your time. If you see it, you go apply your edits, go to the next person you're querying, do that. But basically, I wanted to show the kind of vitriol agents face a lot, because we get so many people emailing us back right now saying we're dumb, we're stupid, we're clearly not a good agent, we obviously don't know the industry and will never be successful because we're passing up on this big bestseller that's the next Harry Potter or Game of Thrones. We get a ton of it. And then we get a ton of actual like insulting things to our persons. Remember that these things last forever. They're not going away. Your answers tell us a lot about yourself, and the industry is small. It gets around. So don't answer back in an argument, and don't answer back insulting. Maybe just don't answer back at all. So I hope that helps everybody understand a little bit about what agents are doing, about what we're going through as we're going through queries, but also in the fact that we are not here to be insulted or bashed, just like we shouldn't be here to insult or bash you. So good luck in the query trenches. This isn't meant to, scare anybody or make them worry. Just be polite, be respectful, and see this as a business, and you're going to be just fine.